It's time for the Nebraska Men's Basketball Coaches Show.
On the right side to Hoiberg, right to left, top of the circle, reverses it off the throw. CJ, three is good! Got it! Bang! CJ Welcher is on fire! Lawrence on the other end lays it up. Shot blocked by Williams. Into the hands of Lawrence. The baseball pass and the jam! The jamola by Gary on the other end. Fighting Hawks with the basketball. And in the passing lane with a steal as Hoiberg jumped in front of everybody. Puts it up on the other end. Got it! Hoiberg gives Nebraska a shot in the arm. Defense turns into offense for Sam. Puff Johnson dancing around. The step back, long three on the way. Got it, got it, got it, got it. Keisei Tominaga. Half minute to go before halftime. Gary drives the ball all the way to the rack. Got it! And an and one. Wahab hits him hard. And Gary, who's knocked to the floor, will be at the free throw line. Huskers are up 5.
Now with Ernie Zeigler, here's your host, Jessica Coody.
Well, happy Monday, everybody, and welcome into our Nebraska Men's Basketball Hour. I'm Jessica Coody, and joined by assistant coach Ernie Zeigler tonight. Ernie, I thought you were going to maybe slip by and not make an appearance here this year. You waited till almost the very last of the season.
Yeah, well, you know, they say you save the best for last.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Well, we're excited to have you. 402-413-2400 if you want to text in a question for Coach here tonight. Well, big win. You guys had the bye week last week. Big win over Penn State. Took care of business at home, which is probably what was the message, right, going into that one?
No question. You couldn't have said any better, Jessica. Taking care of business. I think that's our mantra going down the stretch. We're in a position where we can control our own destiny. And we have to have a Zoom focus about just taking care of our business, regardless of what obstacles come our way that we can't control as each game plays itself out.
Coming off the bye week, how needed was that stretch for your guys going into that game?
Oh, wow. It was huge for us. I mean, you know, early on we had a lot of games where it was 3 games in an 8-day stretch, another 3 in a 7-day stretch. So to get that, you know, for our core group of guys, you know, it was huge. And it showed for us defensively in terms of our effort and what we were able to accomplish Saturday morning, early afternoon.
Coach Hoiberg, too, has made note, too. I mean, you might not always think about it or notice it, but you guys had some guys a little banged up, too, and a lot of guys have played a lot of basketball. At that point in your bodies, and I know you got to fight through it, and it's what you're given, but in this tough of a grind, how are you guys managing kind of making sure that they can take on what you guys need them to take on at this point? Well,
I think our support staff does an excellent job, led by Kurt Joseph, with massages, with yoga, you know, from a mental standpoint. It's a lot of things that those guys are doing to give our guys a competitive advantage and mentally fight through those aches and pains and knick-knack, sometimes injuries or just soreness that comes with playing those many games in a short period of time.
You guys had an early tip-off. We were joking with Kent Pavelka. He said he's going to have to be there at like 5:36 in the morning. You guys like those early tips?
Me personally, no. But they're, you know, it's, you know, as we know, TV is going to guide how the schedule goes. And, you know, it's one of those, the good thing for us is we practice in the mornings. Yeah. So it wasn't that big of an adjustment for our guys. But, you know, when you're getting up and you're having a brunch situation for a game on a Saturday morning and into the early afternoon, you know, it makes it a little different.
It was kind of a little bit of a defensive slugfest in the first half. I think it was, 28-22 at halftime. Out of the gate, out of half, what got into the Huskers to really open that thing up and go on a big run?
Well, I thought Coach Hoiberg did a heck of a job of making the adjustment. We came out in the second half and we just got the ball inside, you know, because we had struggled, you know, to make some open shots that we normally make and even some baskets around the rim. But, you know, those first 2 possessions we played, he got rinked. Coach drew up some things to get rinked the ball below the foul line. And he made, you know, he scored on one, made a really good pass and moved it. And Josiah got another one. And then right after that, Juwan got a layup. So you had 3 layups within that those first 3 possessions that really kind of kick-started and got our offense going in the right direction.
Going into that game, Coach Hoiberg really stressed, the taking care of the basketball against a Penn State team that's one of the best in the Big Ten in the country at turning teams over. So at the end of it, you got 13 turnovers, which is below what they average with teams. Was that something that you guys were good on, maybe could be better, or how did you feel about the turnover situation after the game?
I think, we actually obviously could have been better with some of our execution in terms of how Coach Hoiberg wanted us to try to attack their press. But all in all, the turnovers that we had didn't lead into fast break points for them. Mm-hmm. So that was, to our advantage. And, our guys, I think, overall did a really good job of handling the pressure.
Held Penn State to their lowest total all season. How was the defensive effort?
Well, our defense was, really good. When you look at, for me, I look at if you can hold a team under 40% the defensive field goal percentage and out-rebound them, you're going to have a really good chance to win every game. And this was a prime example. And this game in particular was the first time that we held someone under, 35. I think they shot 33%. And the other game that we won like that when we didn't really shoot well was at Kansas State, where we shot in the 30s ourselves. And we shot better than that actually here Saturday. But our defense was, our kids were locked in, and you could see the freshness, which I think I alluded to a little earlier, in our legs and our attention to detail. And our guys did a really good job of, keeping Penn State well below their average.
When you have a defensive performance like that and what we saw against Kansas State, what is it? What's all going right in that kind of performance when you do put together where it's all coming together and you have that kind of defensive performance?
Well, I think it's the guys that are on the floor just really locked into their assignments, and we did a really good job of preparing for a lot of their stuff. And I think the other thing is that our guys were really focused on not fouling. And, Ace Baldwin for them, he came into the game, he had made more free throws than anyone on our team had attempted. I think Bryce has attempted the most free throws at 93, if I'm not mistaken. And this kid already made 100 free throws on 120 attempts. And he didn't attempt a free throw in the game. So, I think just our rotations and our ability to keep the ball in front of us and contest shots, really bode well, obviously, for us on Saturday afternoon.
I know you guys have certain things that you guys do in terms of, every single game, but when you're assigning guys to match up with a guy like Baldwin and then you substitute in, how does that work when you're figuring out who's going to pick up who? Does it maybe change throughout the course of a game depending on matchups? How do you guys go about just figuring out who's going to be picking up who in any given game plan?
Well, I think each game we come out with matchups and to start the game with our starting lineup, who we want to be on whom. But at the end of the day, everyone ends up guarding or being in a position where you have to switch off. We have guys who are actual switch partners and certain that are like-size guys. Normally we try to keep our smaller guys off of certain guys or what have you. But I think, our staff, Coach Nate, he does a really good job of continuing to talk about those matchups. And then once we start to make subs, guys are really locked in. And particularly on Saturday, we were really locked in. And hopefully we can carry that over as we get ready to embark on a trip to Bloomington.
Casey Tominaga led you guys with 17 points. That there's a stretch where he had a three, then he made a great pass, and I think he had maybe a cut to the basket, and the Big Ten commentators, the analysts, the play-by-play were talking about that how much of his game has kind of evolved. What's been your perspective on some of the other things that Casey is doing well, and what are some of the other things that he's doing really well for this basketball team, besides just shooting the threes that really bring down the house? Well,
I think when he's cutting and when in our different actions, when people are trying to take him away, when he just cuts or continues and finishes cuts to the rim and back out, it opens up things for the rest of our guys. And I think it's very underrated. It's not a stat. It's not something that you're going to see in the box score. But I think his ability to continue to cut and move when he's being really overguarded And then I think his ability to see when the defense, he's doing a much better job of seeing when the defense collapses on him to make a play for someone else, which, some of those commentators were alluding to that you just spoke of.
How good of a passer has he become?
I think he's vastly improved, and part of it is him being willing, because he has good vision, but I think, because he's such a great scorer, he always thinks he can make that tough shot or that tougher shot. And I think he's been much more willing to, when he sees two guys running at him, or if he sees using his shot fakes and putting himself in position to make plays for others. So I think he's just a much more willing passer.
You guys got a bunch of those. That's, to me, one of my favorite things to watch about this team, especially when you guys are when all guys are sharing the basketball. Like I think it was against Michigan. It just seemed like the ball was just moving, and those extra passes. I think you guys got a lot of good passers on the court.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, we start a drill that Coach Hoiberg has us start every practice and talking about simple plays, and and just moving the ball. 0.5 moving the ball, and you saw that we're seeing it on display, and that's what you want to see from a coaching standpoint, is the things that you do every day, you want to see them carry over to 5-on-5 play and in the games, in practice and in the games. And we're starting to see that, and our guys are embracing that. And then part of that is when guys love playing with each other, and you're not worrying about, there's not egos, and you're worrying about, I'm not passing to him or what have you. So when guys are able to embrace that, you see some special basketball.
It was Nick Baugh that was on. I just slipped his name, but Nick Baugh that was on the call, and he was also bringing up a conversation that he had with you guys in preparation, just the way that Casey moves when he doesn't have the basketball, and that it's very underrated part of his game. What is it that he's doing when he doesn't have the ball in the hand that makes him so good about the movement off the ball?
Well, part of it is being in good condition. Like even early on for him when the season first started way back, seems like it was last year, actually, 23. But, he started the season coming off ankle injury and what have you. And, so his movement wasn't as fluid. And now, part of it is being in good condition. So he's healthy, he's in good condition, and he understands if I'm just standing, I'm easier to guard. And in our offense, and in our system, it just gives him, with the spacing, when he's moving and cutting and creating more space for others, because he garners so much attention, it just makes it much easier for our offense to have fluidity.
He probably learned real quick that people are not going to help off.
No question. Yeah, I don't think too many coaches are going to allow guys to be out there and they're helping one pass away off of Casey.
So if you got someone listening in that's got a young shooter that, watch Casey, this is what he does well to get himself open. What would be your words of advice for like a young basketball player and watching what Casey does well?
Well, I think the first part of that is for them to be able to put themselves in a position where they can make shots at a high level. And that's, that's repetition, working on your form or what have you. And once you get that, then now you've been identified as a knockdown shooter. Now it's about moving without the basketball and being able to wait on screens and those and those things that come along with putting yourself available to make shots. But I think first and foremost is getting in the gym, doing form shooting, and having high reps of getting shots up that you can make.
How important is the communication, the work between the screener and the person coming off the screen? When you're seeing some moving screens called and all that, like how do you guys work through that and make sure guys are doing what they need to do their job-wise on the screening part of it?
Well, I think that, for any good shooter or scorer, it's their responsibility to set up screens, and some people, you go into 1-2 setups and you got to wait on the screen and allow that screener to go headhunt and put themselves in position where they can legally set a screen for you. And I think that's the number one thing, is being patient, to set your man up and wait on screens and put yourself in position to be open for shots using those screens.
All right, we got to work in our first break here on our Nebraska Men's Basketball Hour. I see a couple texts rolling in we will get to on the other side of this break. And again, 402-413-2400. If you got a question for Coach Zeigler, send those in there. And you could win a 2024 Porsche Macan from Porsche Omaha this season. 4 lucky Husker fans will have a chance to win a 2024 Porsche Macan if they make a full court putt at halftime at one of 4 home men's basketball games this season. For more information and the official rules, go to www.huskers.com/putt. Have you seen any of those competitions? Have you seen anybody try to make those putts?
No, I have not.
Well, you're probably pretty locked in on a timeout.
Yeah, I have not. No, I have not.
We got to get someone to make that.
Wow.
You think you can make it? Jake Muehlheisen thinks he can make it, of course. He thinks he's got the formula down to knock it down.
Well, I think you got to have some time on the golf course or working on your putt to have some success with it.
It's a little different putting on the hardwood, though.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, particularly because the floor is so hard, it's going to take off on you. But I don't profess to be a giving advice on putting.
All right, we'll step aside for a break. More with Coach Zeigler coming up right after this.
All right.
I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program. I'm recruiting for the team, and I want it to be the finest team in America. I'm looking for someone like you to be a teammate's mentor, someone who is willing to reach out to a child and make a difference. Meeting with a student once a week at school can make an impact in their life and in the community. We want you to join our team. Go to teammates.org to apply today.
There's no community like a Cenex community. And that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
I just remember leaving that day feeling absolutely exhausted. I was sick and tired of living that double life.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
The anxiety, the depression is real. You start thinking about the money, where that could have went to. It's never enough. I could win $10 million today, and I'd go back and try to win 20 tomorrow.
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Welcome back to our Nebraska Men's Basketball Hour. I'm Jessica Coody alongside assistant coach Ernie Zeigler. We had a question for you on our text line, Coach. Could you please explain the thought process that goes into teams just before halftime or the end of game? We so often see the clock milked from 25 seconds down to 7 to 9 seconds and so often are unable to score. Interested in your explanation, and thank you. That's from Greg in Lincoln.
Well, I think, Greg, it's a great question. I think in both instances, at the end, going into the end of the half or at the end of the game, you're trying to manage in the possessions in the game. And so, if, when you start talking about you don't want to take a shot and allow them to get another shot. And even though sometimes the execution hasn't been successful at the end of those situations, more than anything from a coaching standpoint, you're trying to limit your opponent from getting another possession. So that's why you wind it down in that manner and put yourself in position of taking that last shot of the half, or even in the second half, taking the last shot or limiting their opportunities.
Greg, appreciate the question. Jamarcus Lawrence, how good has he been off the bench for you guys? You had the switch in the lineup, but it seems like he's playing some of his best basketball now.
Oh, he really embraced when Coach Hoiberg went to him and about making that change. He embraced it. I mean, and I think it was almost like a lift off his shoulders. And he has the ability to score in bunches, and then it's made him much more. Helped him be able to see the floor better and continue to make plays for others. So I mean, it's been a welcoming addition to him being part of that bench. Our bench scoring. I mean, we lead the conference in bench scoring, and him going there and adding that with CJ and Sam, has put us in position to continue to have success with our bench.
CJ was really good off the bench, 2 years ago, I believe, and then kind of has been in and out of the starting lineup, but then it just seems like he really also kind of likes coming off the bench. What is it about some players that's just kind of what they like to do? And you see it a lot. I mean, not just here, but, some guys are just kind of more comfortable in that role.
Oh, no question. I mean, you have guys that, you get the chance to see there and see how things are flowing or what have you. And then you come in and you immediately are able to have impact on the success of your team. And then, lastly, a lot of times it's not about who starts the game, it's about who finishes the game. Can you have impact on winning in a variety of ways? And it's not always just scoring and being able to make plays, game-winning plays to help your team finish games. So, and our guys have been particularly, Jamarcus now, but particularly CJ and Sam as well, have really flourished in those roles.
Okay, so we have heard Coach Hoiberg tell the story, but we have not heard your perspective of the recruiting of Matar Chope, that you went down to a camp in like Atlanta, right? Is that right?
Yes, it was in Atlanta.
Tell us what you saw. You called him. You said, hey, I think this kid could be pretty special. Give us your whole take on how you found him and what you saw.
Well, yeah, he was a part of that NBA Academy group. And they had a camp there in Atlanta with all of their different schools within the NBA academies from Latin America, Australia, Asia, as well as Africa. And so he was playing a part of that group. And, you know, the thing that jumped out more than anything is his energy and his athleticism. And, you know, and you watch him and just how hard he plays. And then for us, being late, we still had a scholarship. It was just, you know, he's a kid that his best basketball is ahead of him. And, you know, it just jumped out at you because he's different from the rest of the guys that we had in our program. So hopefully for him, he can continue to work, and which he has been, and putting himself in position. But it was just really just seeing that athleticism and that energy and the way his enthusiasm, you know, just jumped out.
What are some of the things that, I mean, because you obviously knew that he had potential, but how are you kind of, I guess, envisioning maybe when you're recruiting somebody like that, what he could be? What is it that kind of your thought process when, hey, we can maybe do something with him and he's so green and we could maybe work with this?
Well, I think his God-given ability first and foremost, you know, because, again, when you look at our system and our guys, we just don't have anyone like him. You know, he's a guy that, you know, defensively, I think he could be a guy that could switch ball screens and with his length and athleticism, he can just make plays. You know, the big thing for him is, you know, he's got to get bigger and stronger to be able to withstand the contact and physicality in the Big Ten as a post guy. But you know, it's just exciting because you can see what his potential can be once he gets his weight up, once he learns the nuances of our offense and becoming more skilled within those things. You know, he has a big-time future moving forward in college basketball.
How fun has it been for you to see him? He's provided you guys with some good minutes. You had some injuries to some of the rotation in the bigs, and he stepped in at certain times, but seems like Coach Hoiberg's really bragged on just even the progress that he's made this season so far. So how much fun has it been for you to kind of see him grow just in this year?
Yeah, it's been good, you know, and the other thing is for kids like that, it's hard for them, you know, from the outside looking in when you see them, when you're in those roles, because they all want to play. You know, and he had illusions of grandeur, wanting to play more, but I think he's put himself in position where I have to control what I can control. And that means every day coming to practice, having a good attitude, and working my butt off for if and when that opportunity presents itself. And even for him on the road at Rutgers, you know, we had foul trouble and guys fouled out down the stretch, and he came in and, you know, without missing like he had been playing all along, and made a huge pass to Sam Hoiberg in the corner in front of our bench. And we were trying to, you know, there in that overtime, and Sam knocked that shot down. So, you know, for him, it's just about continuing to control the things he can control, which is his focus, his attitude, and how hard he's working each and every day to continue to enhance his skill set and get better.
He made a big three the other day too, right? Was that the last home game?
Oh, the last home game, yeah, he did. He banked one in. Yes, he did. You know, but you know, he's getting better even with that in terms of, you know, within our system, you know, he's shooting a lot of threes every day in practice, or what have you, and improving his ability to stretch the floor, and along with you know, just continuing to learn and get better at being able to pass and move. And continue to work. So,
got a couple more text questions for you. Update on Eli Rice. How's he progressing?
Well, he's you know, he had turned his ankle a few weeks back, and he's recovering from a high ankle sprain, which are, you know, the nastiest things. So we're hoping that he continues to progress, that he can get back going here in the next week or so.
Had a couple questions asking about Eli. He's got another freshman that's got a tremendous upside, right, for you guys?
Oh, no question. And very, just almost like regurgitating the same things I was saying just about Matar. I mean, Eli and he's gotten a little more opportunity when he was healthy, but he has the ability to come in and really score, and he's getting better defensively. He was getting better defensively prior to getting down and doing other things to help his team win in the minutes that you play. And so he has a big upside as well, and hopefully he can get back healthy and be able to help us during this stretch run down the stretch.
Mike had a question for you on the text line. Coach, what has it meant to the team to have guys back like the McGowans and Sam Griesel? You guys, and then Derek Walker was back a few weeks ago. I think Emmanuel Vandermel's been back. It's got to be pretty cool for you guys to have them back.
Oh, it is. When you have guys that have come in and helped you, particularly, I didn't get the opportunity to coach Bryce because obviously I wasn't here. But, the success Bryce is having at the NBA level, and for our guys to see him, endear himself that, hey, on all here you are, the last 2 All-Star weekends since I've been here on the staff, he's here in Lincoln, so that lets you know that time that he was here, part of the program as a freshman, was special to him. And then as well as, Griesel coming back, and Griesel was a huge part of us turning this culture for us and putting us in position to be where we are right now in the last 16, 18 months. Sam Griesel was a huge part of that. And then, as well as Derek and Emmanuel. So, it's just good to see those guys come back and our guys to be able to interact with them and share that level of camaraderie as a Husker men's basketball player.
From your perspective, what were some of the most important things that those guys implemented while they were here? When you talk about turning the culture, what were some of the biggest things that they did?
Well, I think, first and foremost, from a competitive standpoint, Griesel and Emmanuel and Derek were big-time competitors. And, when you think about, obviously, 12 months ago, the February that we had last year, and, think about the win and the court storming that we had this year with Purdue. Well, we were eerily close to having a similar deal with Emmanuel and Sam and those guys in December over a year ago. So those guys just brought tenaciousness and toughness, and, hopefully we can tap into that here as we get ready to board the flight to Bloomington and have that same level of tenaciousness and toughness on the road.
You guys had a couple of court storms, and then the women had their own against Iowa the other day. And I thought it was so cool. Almost the entire men's basketball team was right there sitting courtside, and they were into that game. They were cheering. You guys seem to have a cool relationship between the men's and women's team and how you guys support each other. Oh, no question. I mean, we're both striving to do the same things, and, we're sharing the same facilities, and we're seeing each other every day. And, Amy and her staff are doing such a great job with that. And so for our guys, if you're in Pinnacle and you start to feel the electricity that's in there, I mean, for what the women did in beating Iowa and creating that atmosphere, it's just a special thing when you're in there. And, we're all, obviously we've had it as well. And, it's all about just keep stacking dubs in the vault. The vault, when you're in the vault, you can't get back there and take dubs from us. It seems like, just across the country for both men's and women's, it's becoming one of those places that people are talking about, hey, good luck trying to go get a win there inside PBA. No doubt about it. And we want to continue to enhance that thought process and making it extremely difficult, Like you say, when you deposit in the vault, there's dubs deposited in the vault. And can't get them out. We need to make that a T-shirt. How many court storms? I got to get a part of that patent. Hey, copyright right here on Sports Nightly. Ernie Zeigler, that's his copyright. How many court storms had you been a part of before those two this season? Wow. We were always favored at the place, so it was hard. Actually, I've been on the reverse end of one. When I was at Pitt, we were number 2 in the country, and we actually lost to and would have had a chance to be number 1 that year during that game. We lost at Syracuse,
And Carmelo Anthony's one long year there, and they beat us, and they stormed the court beating us.
Wow.
But that was my only other experience with it. But it was a really eerie deal to be a part of.
Seemed like you were enjoying being a part of the ones here in PBA.
Oh, no question. No question. No, it was special, extremely special. And, when you create those type of moments for your students, for our fans, it's just a special deal. And hopefully we can continue to do so as we move forward here in the years to come.
All right, got to work in another break here on our Nebraska Men's Basketball Hour. Contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and yourself. It's free, it's easy, it's the law. Back with more coming up right after this.
Husker fans, if you're looking for a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding and provides flexibility, your local insurance agency is hiring. No matter your skills or interests, there are opportunities for you in the insurance industry. Explore the many ways you can use your skills to protect your community by checking out the IIAN job board. Find your calling and be a part of an industry that makes a difference. Go to iian.org/careers today.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Woodhouse Nissan makes shopping for your next vehicle simple. Browse our inventory, apply for financing, and more from the comfort of your own home. Right now, receive 0% APR for 36 months or 1.9% APR for 60 months on the 2023 Nissan Rogue SV. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra, $299 doc fee due at signing. When financed through NMAX/Infinity LT. Discounted price based on sale price of $31,620. VIN number PW351338. Offer expires 2/29/24. See dealer for details.
I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program. I'm recruiting for the team, and I want it to be the finest team in America. I'm looking for someone like you to be a teammate's mentor, someone who is willing to reach out to a child and make a difference. Meeting with a student once a week at school can make an impact in their life and in the community. We want you to join our team. Go to teammates.org to apply today.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Kidwell is celebrating 75 years of business, and they know how many network issues you and your team have to resolve. Let them help. Kidwell and Juniper leverage Mist AI to provide more visibility, flexibility, and scalability into your network to quickly get rid of those trouble tickets, heighten the user experience, and deliver reliable wireless access to customers and employees to simplify operations for network administrators. Kidwell, see beyond. Inspiring connectivity and communication since 1948.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Kidwell is celebrating 75 years of business, and they know how many network issues you and your team have to resolve. Let them help. Kidwell and Juniper leverage Mist AI to provide more visibility, flexibility, and scalability into your network to quickly get rid of those trouble tickets, heighten the user experience, and deliver reliable wireless access to customers and employees to simplify operations for network administrators. Kidwell, see beyond. Inspiring connectivity and communication since 1948.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner with 20 brands and 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Got a couple more segments left here with assistant coach Ernie Zeigler. One of the other guys I wanted to ask you about your recruiting story, because I'll never forget Bryce Williams when he comes in here in the summer. And he is talking about one of the biggest reasons why he wanted to come here was the relationship he built with you, and you reminded him of kind of like an uncle. So what was that recruiting process like? How were you able to build that kind of relationship with him? Because that's a guy that could have been, I mean, just with how he plays, he's a pretty hot commodity out of the transfer portal.
No question. We've been really fortunate and blessed to have him as part of our program, because he's so versatile and does so many different things for us. As the season has gone on, we've seen that versatility. But his uncle James is married to his mom's sister, and his uncle and one of my best friends and high school buddies were in the Navy together. Huh. And so that's how the relationship came about. And my buddy called me and said, "Hey, man, my man James, he's saying his nephew is thinking about getting out of Charlotte, blah, blah, blah," when he put his name in the portal. So, okay. And so then, you immediately pull him up on Synergy and whatever. You start saying, "Oh, man," and look how well he shot the ball and how he fit in our system when you start talking about positionless basketball. And so, it was from there, it was just about relationships. At the end of the day, that's what recruiting is. It's about relationships. Sometimes you can call and cold call on a kid or what have you, whatever, but if there's not a connection, if there's not some type of relationship somewhere along that line, it's hard to overcome that.
And for someone like that, again, the second time around, and now in age, I know that meant a lot to him just to have a genuine relationship with you, which certainly he's been a big addition. Would you have thought, though, that he was going to be running the point for you guys, maybe bringing up the ball when you were calling him to come be a part of this program?
Not at all. And I've said this to one of our guys about it. It's been a godsend, because, no one, when we recruited him, thought he was going to be initiating offense for us. And it's a testament to Bryce, that his role has continued to change as the season goes on, and there's a transitional period in that. And sometimes, he had a couple of games where all of a sudden now I'm less looking for my offense, but I'm trying to make sure guys are getting good shots. And then, big-time point guards balance that all the time, in terms of being a scoring point. And early on, I'm going to get guys involved and get these guys shots, and then I still got to find my offense. And he's, making that transition to be able to do that, because, he has to, he's one of our better rebounders. I think he's second or third overall in assists, second in Big Ten play, and then now he's also guarding the best perimeter player on each team. So when you're able to take on all those threats and be a guy that play. That's a two-way guy and can play on both ends of the floor. I mean, you're just so indispensable, and that's what Bryce Williams is for us.
It's pretty automatic from the free throw line too.
Yeah, there you go. See, I'm leaving things out. And my buddy, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention his name, Kendall Tyus, who is my buddy from Detroit, who's friends with his uncle. He's been telling me that all along, man. He say, man, that guy does a lot for you. I say, yeah, you're right. I'm glad you told me about him. It enhanced my employment here in Nebraska.
Bryce is a pretty fascinating guy too. He likes to fish. He's a golfer. He's got a lot of interests even outside of basketball.
Oh, he does. He's got a little country boy in him. He'll probably downplay that some, but growing up in North Carolina and being out, he's used to going out. He comes from a great family, and he's got a little jack of all trades about him. And it's starting to. Obviously, we're seeing that on the basketball court as well.
Does he call you Uncle Ernie?
No, he does not. No, he does not.
I can see that kind of relationship, how important that is, and it's just kind of cool that when you think about getting a guy like that, just that was really what was key in getting him here.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's I really relish our relationship because the other day he come by the office and we sat and talked for about 45 minutes, an hour, and just about numerous things or what have you. But, it's just about helping guys reach their ultimate level of success. And that's how I've gone about it in every spot I've been in. And, and there's ups and downs with that. But helping guys reach their ultimate level of success, that's our on and off the court in life. And, hopefully continue to do so with Bryce and all our guys.
Absolutely. All right, got to work in our final break. Got one final segment with Coach coming up here. Dorothy Lynch, home style and light and lean dressing. Endless flavorabilities.
Don't miss out on limited time appliance deals during the closeout event at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $100 when you spend $999 or more on all major appliances. Hurry, these deals are too good to last long. Shop in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 1/4 through 1/24. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowes.com for details.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Ground beef is only $2.99 a pound at Hy-Vee. That's not a sale price. That's the price with the Hy-Vee Perks membership. And $2.99 a pound is not just the price today or this week, it's the Perks price every day. With the Hy-Vee Perks membership, you can save on hundreds of products store-wide every time you shop. And count on Perks prices to stay the same. So if you want to pay less for ground beef every day, sign up for Hy-Vee Perks. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Final segment of our Nebraska men's basketball hour with assistant coach Ernie Zeigler. Well, up next, hitting the road again at Indiana on Wednesday, 7:30 tip. The issue on the road, I know it's been a big topic, but how do you guys how do you approach it? You know, again, knowing that you probably need to get one on the road, but I guess balancing maybe the pressure and the understanding of knowing that you need to get one on the road, but also not making probably too big of a deal about it.
Well, I think you can't run from it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, Coach Hoiberg's approach is, and talking to our guys this morning during film session, we got to go get one. Mm-hmm. And, you know, part of that is our temperament. You know, we have to be able to withstand the ebb and flows of what we can't control on the road, be it bad calls that we think are bad calls, you know, be it the other team going on a run and their crowd getting going, making mistakes that we make. You know, we got to have next play mentality, and there's got to be a improved and enhanced level of toughness, attitude that we're not going to be denied. We're going to finish a 40-minute game, 45 minutes in case like at Rutgers and Illinois, whatever it takes, the wit mentality, whatever it takes, we got to go get one. And I think that's what, you know, we're focusing on as we prepare to go to Bloomington.
So you guys knocked off Indiana here at home, 86-70 back on January 3rd. And I know both teams are different, and it's certainly a tough place to play. But what did you guys do well in that matchup that maybe you might try to do again here second time around? If you can remember.
Yeah, no, I can. And watching the film, I think, you know, what we need our offense to travel, you know, because we were able to make shots. I mean, we scored 83, I want to say 86 points. No, it was 86 in that game. And then I think defensively, you know, we have to be physical. You know, we have to be physical in doing and executing the things that we're doing in terms of matchups and scheme. And, you know, and then we have to be physical on the boards. You know, we can't go and get pounded on the boards on the road again. And that's, again, comes with your attitude and your temperament that we're not going to allow that to happen again. So I think if we can do those two things and put ourselves in position to quiet the crowd there, because, you know, there in Bloomington, you know, they have one of the, you know, obviously Indiana's a blue blood, and the fan base they have in terms of them really engaging and being a sixth man for them. You know, those are all the things we got to overcome here and put ourselves in position to get that first road win.
All right, and then before I let you go, because this will be our last coaches show before the next one, you'll have another game before then. Minnesota at home coming up this weekend as well. Tell us about that matchup as well and what to be looking for in that one.
Well, I think the biggest thing that's going to be on our mind is revenge. Mm-hmm. Revenge, you know, because that was our very first road test in Big Ten play, and you know, we had a sizable lead at halftime of that game, and then, you know, we just self-destructed and didn't play tough enough to secure that win on the road. And so, you know, them coming in here, they're playing much better than they were, and playing different guys or what have you, and they've emerged along the way. So it's going to be a really tough game for us on Saturday. But, you know, we're back in the vault, and where we
deposit
dubs in the vault.
Yes, you coined that phrase right here on Sports Nightly. Ernie Zeigler, appreciate your time. Best of luck on Wednesday.
Thank you, Jessica.
All right, that's going to wrap up our Nebraska men's basketball hour. Got a full another hour of Sports Nightly coming up next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Start your next journey with Woodhouse. Our commitment extends beyond just selling cars. We offer an unparalleled car buying experience that allows you to shop and buy all online. Explore an array of new brands, makes, and models, as well as our large selection of pre-owned vehicles. And it's easy to get started today with our streamlined purchasing process online, granting you the freedom to secure your next vehicle anytime, anywhere. Discover a better way to buy with Woodhouse.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Good evening. I'm Henry Goodwin, and our sports sticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. In Husker softball news, Sydney Gray was named the Big Ten Softball Co-Player of the Week on Monday, following an outstanding weekend at the Troy Cox Classic in New Mexico. It was a big week for men's gymnastics as Nebraska swept the conference in accolades this week. Taylor Christopoulos, Chase Mondi, and Zach Tieterman each received weekly honors following Saturday's tri-meet against Army in Greenville. Christopoulos was named Big Ten Gymnast of the Week, Mondi earned his second Big Ten Freshman Award, and Zach Tieterman collected Big Ten Specialist accolades, announced by the conference Monday afternoon. In women's gymnastics news, senior Kinsey Davis was named an AAI Award nominee, as the American Athletic Inc. announced the list on Monday. This prestigious award is presented to the most outstanding senior collegiate female gymnast in the country and is voted on by the NCAA Women's Gymnastics head coaches. Our sports sticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Now get ready for Hour 2 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
The pump fake by Mass, step back three on the way. Got it! Holy smokes! Holy cow! The Flying Dutchman with a victory to tie it at 65.
Andrews lines toward right, and it's over the head of Medellin and rolling all the way to the wall. Billy on her way to second, not stopping there. The car's relay from short right field is wide of the mark. Billy Andrews with a leadoff triple.
Over to come set the pitch. Drill to left field, that's hit hard. Wesley Jordan going back, looking up, and it is off the top of the wall. It is gone, home run. They'll say it landed on top of the yellow. It's a home run for Garrett Anglem.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz, knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot, 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
And we're back, hour number 2, Sports Nightly here on a Monday night. I hope you had a great weekend, and a lot of sports happened for Husker athletics over the last couple of days. Fun to hear Coach Zeigler with you last hour. They did a nice job of kind of shaking off maybe a little bit of rust from having the week off, and kind of relied on their defense Saturday to win that one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little rusty, but also much needed time off.
Oh, no doubt.
You know, they had some guys that needed some time, needed some rest, and they really turned it on in the second half. And Penn State's, that's not an easy team. You know, they turn you over. They kind of are, they're really disruptive. And so it took them a while, but they came out in the second half and really got it going and protected home court. They took care of business, which is what they needed to do.
Now time to go win a road game.
Got to get one.
Yeah.
You got to get one.
Yeah.
You got to get one of these 2.
3.
One of these 3.
Indiana,
at Ohio State,
Michigan. Yeah, to finish it off.
Yeah.
So off they go, and that'll be Wednesday night here on the network with a tip of 7:30, 6:30 for pregame coverage with Kent and Jake for that one. Nice bounce back by the women Saturday as well after losing at Ohio State last week. What a game for Alexis Markowski. A 2020? You kidding me?
That's unbelievable. I keep asking people about this, but I just don't think she's getting enough credit nationally. And, you know, even I asked Coatney about it the other day, and he said the problem is the team's not in the top 25 conversation. Until the team starts getting national recognition, she's probably not going to get the recognition that she deserves. But she is no doubt one of the best bigs in the country. And there's a reason why, you know, you talk about how teams guard and match up, and they are trying everything that they can to take her out of it, and yet she's still producing the way that she is. She's, I mean, just so good and continues to do everything she can to help this team win basketball games. And that was one of the ones out of the 4 that I think I was probably the most concerned about, just, again, bouncing back off of that loss at Ohio State, having just a day to prepare. Purdue's not an easy place to play. And, you know, they've shown some fight against some teams. So that was a big one to win that one. And you want to talk about a team that needs to take care of business. They've got 3 games now left.
Yeah.
They needed to win. Coatney said that they needed 3 to win 3 out of the last 4. I thought that was probably one of the more challenging ones of these last 4. Now, you saw them not take care of business against a team like Rutgers. You got to take care of business. But to me, I thought that might have been the most challenging one of the four, and how they match up. They should have, pretty good case. I think they're in if they finish out strong here in these last 3 games.
And they didn't start very well the other day. They were down in the first quarter, and you kind of go, okay, is this a hangover from the loss the other night? And then they kind of found their rhythm in the second quarter and really controlled the game in the second half, and she was a big, big part of it. I'm with you. I don't think when people start talking about great players in the country, her name never comes up, and it should. Because I think every coach in the Big Ten would go, "Whew, yeah, she's one of the best players in our league," and this league is loaded with great players.
Especially when you think about the national conversation, and this is really kind of naturally with, I think, both men's and women's, just the sport of basketball. A lot of times it goes to guards, great guards, except for, Edie, Purdue. But a lot of times the guards get a lot of attention. Right now it's on Caitlin Clark. And, there's no doubt that you tell me 5 post players in the nation that are better than Alexis Markowski. I don't know if you can. True post players.
Right. Aoka Lee would be probably toward the top of that list. And who's this? Is the Stewart girl at UConn would be in that mix. But, yeah, she's right there. She's right there with all those players. So.
I mean, she's definitely in the top 10.
Yes, I agree.
True post players. I know that there are some that are maybe a little bit hybrid, maybe the 4s.
Well, and she's a bit of a hybrid because she can step out and shoot the 3.
Yeah.
Which is a great wrinkle to the offense.
Absolutely.
She can do that.
I mean, she's got great touch. She can shoot it, but she's not a... more so like you don't see her going in and out. It's more so when there's a matchup and they're not picking her up, she can step out and hit it. But for the most part, she's just really, really solid inside. Her footwork has gotten so good. And because of the way teams are guarding her, she's had to find other ways to get it going. She's just been really, really impressive.
She's the MVP of this team.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even close. I mean, Jazz has had some up and down moments. She's had great. And I know she was the National Player of the Week last week, but I think consistently from game 1 to now, it's been Alexis.
She absolutely, hands down. And, Jazz kind of has been battled an injury throughout the season. And that's what Coat and I were talking about. Jazz got a lot of in that moment because it was such a big win and you knock off Iowa and all the kind of focus that was on that for Caitlin Clark. But they wouldn't have won that game without Alexis Markowski. And it really took everybody in that game. But night in and night out, who's been the most consistent player for this team?
Her.
It's Alexis Markowski. To me, she's hands down all Big Ten first team, right?
No question. No question. Today was a fun day. President's Day. A lot of people had the day off. Fox had a college basketball women's doubleheader this afternoon. What a cool deal. Creighton played UConn in the first game, and the Jays hung in there until mid-third quarter, and then UConn had a great finish to the game and won pretty handily. And then Indiana played at Illinois. Illinois took them to the woodshed. 20-point win for Illinois, who I think has a lot of potential and is probably really underachieved this year. You were talking about key games left. Huskers finished the regular season at Illinois in about 2 weeks, so that'll be a tough one. But, man, they picked apart Indiana in that game today.
That was one of those matchups that when the first time around when Nebraska was playing them at home, that both Jeff Greash and Matt Coatney were talking about as a scary matchup because they have so much experience coming back from a team that made it to the NCAA tournament last year, and they could be very scary. They could be a scary matchup, but they just, for some reason, I don't know, have not been able to get it going this year.
I know, it hasn't
But that right there, what they just did, that's what they are capable of.
Right.
It's just which are they going to show up and play like that? But that is certainly, that's why when you talk about the scary, the 2 scary ones at Purdue, just because, again, the way that they press, and that's what Amy Williams had talked about going into that, being that Nebraska did not handle the press well at Ohio State, which that's a whole different animal. But, the pressure that Purdue a lot of times kind of throws at people. But Illinois certainly is a scary matchup, too. And on the road, they are certainly capable of putting that performance together.
And they're 13-12 now with that win. So 1 game over 500, but their net going into today was 50. So you beat Indiana by that margin. I bet they're going to go up 8 or 9 spots in the net. If they rattle out 4 or 5 wins, they could get themselves onto the bubble, I think.
Yeah.
I really think they could. So
And you still have the Big Ten tournament too,
right? Which,
because of the teams that are in the Big Ten, if you win some of those games, it certainly helps the resume.
Right.
There are some teams that, for the women, that if you beat them, it really does wonders for your resume in terms of trying to put that argument together getting into the postseason.
Yep. So lots to play for coming down the stretch of the season. That's the way it is every year. The women will be on the court tomorrow night at PBA. Late tip, everybody. You have to take a little nap in the afternoon. 8 o'clock tip for the Huskers and the Wildcats of Northwestern. They've had a rough year. 7:30 for pregame coverage tomorrow night. You just talked with Ernie Zeigler. The men play at Indiana on Wednesday night, 7:30 tip for that, 6:30 for pregame coverage. We wish them the best of luck there. Sydney Gray had herself quite a weekend for Huskers softball. A couple 3-run home runs yesterday as they came from behind to beat Sacramento State. They did what they really needed to do this weekend. They went 4-1 down in Las Cruces, and now for the softball program, a really challenging week ahead. They go to that Mary Nutter Classic out in California. Nebraska's been there multiple times. They're going to see some really, really good competition. UCLA's on the schedule. They haven't been very good early in the year. They've lost some games. I'm not even sure UCLA's still ranked, but they're still a marquee program. This will be a fun weekend for Rhonda Revell's team, but got 4 wins out of 5. That's a good weekend.
And bounce back following the first loss. They dropped game 1 and then bounced back, and boy, came out. And they didn't have Billy Andrews that first day, but and that was one of the things that Nate Rohr talked about going into the weekend. How's this team going to respond with the devastating news, knowing that Jordy Ball was done for the season? And they responded. They did what they needed to do. And, hey, that was a hitter's ballpark, and Sydney Gray certainly took advantage of the hitter's ballpark.
Great for her, and so that's a good job for them. And now they'll go play some really good competition over the weekend in a premier tournament. It was the premier tournament until they kind of put together that Clearwater ESPN Classic that was this past week, and that's kind of overtaken it a little bit. But year in and year out, the Mary Nutter is one of the better tournaments in the country.
Yeah, it's very prestigious to be a part of that. And even though the other one the Clearwater might get more cover, it's still kind of a who's who of college softball. It's still a big deal to go play in that tournament.
I didn't get a chance to watch yesterday. I was traveling. I'd missed the duel between Nebraska and Penn State. Huskers battled. They fought hard in a kind of the lion's den of wrestling in the country. Came up short, but there's no shame in losing to the number 1 team.
It was tight, especially halfway through. You get to the midway point, and Huskers were right there in it, but they've just got some dudes that are
national champs.
Yeah, that are going to be competing for national champions. And when you talk about matching up with someone like that, where you're going to see them multiple times in a season, and might see them in the Big Tens, might see them in the NCAA tournament, now's not the time you want to beat them, right?
Well, we talked about that. Didn't we talk about that last week about in the Big Ten meet, which is coming up in a few weeks? You see a lot of people that opt out of the finals. They don't want to wrestle somebody because they want to save it for the NCAA tournament in a couple of weeks. It's a bizarre part of that sport.
I think a lot of it is the opting out of you wrestle a few times, but then it's the championship a lot of times is when you see, because you might see a number 1 versus number 2 matchup in the Big Ten that, hey, it means a lot more to go have it, because you have the upper hand when you see somebody so much. It's kind of like when you play teams in other sports and you see them 3 times.
It's hard to play somebody that many times.
It's hard to beat somebody 3 times.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat in football. It's hard to beat them twice, So I think for a lot of the thinking for me was like, well, I think I'd rather have Brock Hardy win. If they're going to match up again, I think I'd rather him win the next time around, right? But
the biggest tournament is the NCAAs. That's what you gun for.
But right out of the gate, 125, 133 was excellent matchups, and Jacob Van D just continues to be impressive.
Wow.
We sit here this whole season, and there's so many other names that you talk about in this lineup, but he's another guy that maybe we should start talking about a little bit more, because he has really been impressive these last few weeks.
Sure has. All right, here's what we have for the hour. Nebraska interim president Chris Kabourek is going to be here in a few minutes. We'll get some update from him, and I know that there was an emergency Board of Regents meeting today called. They meet every other month. They're not meeting for a couple more weeks. There's a lot of speculation that it was about the president's job. I don't know whether his planned interview with us was way before this meeting got called today. So I don't know. I have not talked to the president yet. He's not here. He's going to show up here in a couple of minutes. Whether he wants to talk about that or not today, probably I think it went behind closed doors. So I'm not sure he even legally can even say much about what that. So I know a lot of people in the chat room are going, "Oh, it's going to be all about that." I don't know, folks, because I've not talked to Chris. It's not on our sheet of what we're supposed to talk about with him, but when he gets here, we'll have that for you in just a couple minutes. Also want to hear from you, 402-413-2400, the number if you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text. We'll also have our weekend winners headed your way at the end of the hour as well. A plethora of people that you can choose from, so we'll see what everybody is coming up with for that as well. I see Mike wants to know my thoughts about the baseball weekend. Huskers go 1-2 down there in that classic in Arlington. They played 3 Big 12 teams, beat Baylor on Friday. I joined Jessica Friday night. We talked about that one. Lost to nationally ranked Texas Tech 6-3 Saturday. The game was tied at 3 in the ninth. Tech got a swinging bunt that kind of started their rally for 3 runs. And then yesterday, kind of got their hearts ripped out a little bit. I told Jessica, it reminded me of a lot of the football games I've called the last several years. We're like, going to win, going to win, going to win, going to win. And nope, not going to win. So a tough one there.
I stopped watching. I thought they had it in the bag.
The good news is, and Will Bolt said this afterwards, he goes, you know what? We went toe-to-toe with everybody, and maybe we're the better team for 16 of the 18 innings, but you got to be the better team for all of them. So he says you take the good, but you also got to find a way to win those games in the end.
And to another thing, I feel like we talk about this all the time, but those teams that they're playing pray a little bit ahead in terms of being ready for this kind of weekend, just given the circumstances with weather and how they can practice and how, the Huskers they've been limited. They've had snow on the ground.
They have. They've been out a little bit, but not. And Mike, my other thing was that there's some really good young freshman pitchers, Timmerman, Horn, that looked really good. I like some of the new parts that they brought in offensively. Silva, the center field, I think is going to be a great player. Overbeek at third base is going to be a really good player. So I liked some of those parts, and really none of them are seniors. I think that's pretty encouraging.
What I loved is how quickly those pitchers work, which I asked you about the other day. I love it, just the flow of the game. I really enjoy. I like it when pitchers work like that. And it seemed like from start to finish, which I asked you about, is that going to be something that we see? And you thought that that's probably going to be pretty characteristic of this pitching staff.
That's what Rob teaches. Rob Childers, that's kind of his mantra. All right, that's what we have for the hour. Again, 402-413-2400. When we come back, Chris Kabourek will join us, the interim president of the University of Nebraska. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Back with the Prez next.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option. It's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
Active Liver is one of many award-winning health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at Amazon.com or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Available as a tablet or delicious sugar-free gummy. Protect and help your liver the easy and effective way with Active Liver at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
If you're an unconditional, wholehearted, and ever so loyal Husker fan, you deserve to pay like one everywhere you go. With the free FNBO Husker Visa debit card. Fuel your fandom all season and beyond with a debit card just for you. It's free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get your free Husker Visa debit card at any branch or at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
There's no community like a Cenex community.
And that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
There's no community like a Cenex community, and that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Woodhouse has got you covered for your next car, truck, or SUV. We are committed to making the car buying and owning experience better, thanks to our knowledgeable sales staff and factory certified technicians. You can discover our large inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles anytime at woodhouse.com, where we have made buying a car easier than ever. Whether you need a family hauling SUV, a car to take you around town, or a hard-working truck, Woodhouse has something for everyone.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunny's at Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
We're back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Delighted to be joined in studio by the interim president of the University of Nebraska, Chris Kabourek. We actually had you scheduled last week, but you were over at the State House doing your job, and sometimes those days can get a little lengthy. So we missed you, but we're glad you're with us here tonight.
Well, thanks, Greg. Always great to be with you. Sorry about the little reschedule. Yes, always good to talk to our 49 friend at the legislature every weekend, but happy to talk about Husker sports with you tonight.
Very good. Before we get into the sports talk, we've got our YouTube chat room open tonight. People are like, well, the president's on tonight because there was this emergency Board of Regents meeting today. Can you share anything with us?
Well, I'm hoping, we talked last time. I do a little coaching of my son's team, and yesterday we won our league tournament. So I'm hoping the board went to the session, to do a resolution about how we won the league tournament last weekend. The board met. They went right into closed session, so I'm not privy to any information that anybody else is. I assume it had to do with their process of the search, which continues, but my understanding, no announcement was made today, so but I think that's what they meant about.
Okay, very good. Well, let's talk a little Husker sports. I know you love talking about that. You love basketball, refereeing basketball. The Husker seasons are going pretty well, aren't they?
It's that time of the year when the referee, once the calendar turns to February, coaches a little bit more intensive, players a little more intense as we approach March Madness. So the basketball junkie, it's a great time of year. On high school, we're approaching district, state tournament play. So really excited. And I heard you and Jessica talking about it, but, let's start off with the Iowa win by the women's. I mean, incredible win. I was there. It was a lot of fun. Couldn't agree more with you about the play of Alexis Markowski.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back as a coach and think about some of the big threes she hit in the second and the third quarter when it almost felt like, Iowa was ready to take that knockout punch, and for her to step up and make those. And then for us just to compete in that fourth quarter was so fun to watch. So, and then, great job by the men, by Fred and the team here. I was at the Penn State game, just played really fabulous second half. Guarded, the best I've seen them guard all year. And I heard you guys talk about, hopefully we'll just get a couple wins by both of them. And I'm really excited about what our March Madness prospects might look like.
Should be good. And because you wear multiple hats, let's wish UNK and UNO teams good luck as well. Hope that they have a successful end of their years.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm glad you said that because, at UNO, our Mavericks, they're having both great programs, a couple new coaches there that are still in their second year with Coach Crook at UNO. And Kearney, a little bit of a coaching transition there, but, they're fighting each and every day in the MIAA, which I know a lot about. I referee in the MIAA, one of the
tough leagues.
I would say it's probably the premier basketball conference in Division II. So, kudos to all of our programs for the success they've been having this season.
I'm a bit of a closet UNO hockey fan, and they're ranked, so good luck. Get to the Frozen Four, guys. That would be fun. So good for that. You've talked in the past about celebrating the best and the brightest students, about 5-star academic performers. We talk about 4 and 5 stars a lot on Sports Nightly. You recently announced this new Presidential Scholars Program that will help us just to do that, keep us to keep the best students right here in Nebraska. How's that going? Tell us more about that.
We were really excited about a couple weeks ago to join Governor Pillen, members of the Board of Regents, state senators, and other higher education leaders to announce the new President's Scholarship Program. And it's simply, if any Nebraska kid scores a perfect 36 on their ACT test, which all juniors in Nebraska are required to take, they will get what we call our 5-star academic scholarship. Total cost of attendance, so we pay for your fees, your tuition, your room and board, your books. And just like some of our athletes, you'll get a $5,000 stipend to do whatever they want to. And so it really came down to, Greg, I say this on your show a lot, but we need to go compete. We first need to make sure we tell those kids we want them to stay in Nebraska, to study here, hopefully get an internship here, take a job, start their careers and their families here in Nebraska. But I've just heard too many stories. I've seen it with my own kids and their friends of other institutions around us just simply outcompeting us in terms of what they can offer in terms of scholarships and other things to these students. And we just can't. We got a lot of great homegrown talent here in Nebraska, just like we talked about in Husker athletics. And we just need to make sure those students know we want them and that we're going to keep them. And so I can't thank Governor Pillen enough for his partnership on this. From the top from the governor's office to the Board of Regents to the senators, we're all aligned, and this is going to be really important. And I intend to get out and see all of these kids and let them know, hey, we need you here in Nebraska.
Fantastic. Again, visiting with Interim President Chris Kabourek here on Sports Nightly. When I see Chancellor Bennett, he likes to always talk about research, so I'm going to go there next. On the academic research side, you recently got a nice leg up with a new model around how you report your research expenditures. What can you share with us about that model, and why does that matter?
So, great question. And so, if we've been doing a lot of study in terms of how can the University of Nebraska better compete, particularly with our Big Ten peers. And some of these are just are there things we can just get out of our own way. And if you look at most of the Big Ten peer institutions, they're their academic health science center, their college of medicines are integrated with the flagship land-grant institution, where in Nebraska, decisions made many, many decades ago, we keep those two separate. And so when you look at Big Ten, particularly research academic rankings, UNL compared to Ohio State you're looking at not only apples and oranges, but maybe I would argue apples and Volkswagen because of the two different structures, where Ohio State is one comprehensive medical college flagship compared to UNL. So we've been asking our questions, and I give a lot of kudos to Dr. Bennett and Dr. Gold, the UNMC chancellor, about, are there ways we could better collaborate, work together? And in short, we've been working with the National Science Foundation on what would it take for us to combine our research reporting expenditures. And so, long story short, after some really good conversations with the National Science Foundation, starting next year, we will report our research expenditures for UNL and UNMC as a combined entity. And what that means, Greg, is we go from like 122nd in the country to like 64th. And we haven't even started to go set our priorities around researchers and funding we're going to go after. So we automatically, we're just right outside Iowa. And I've set a goal to Dr. Gold and Dr. Bennett, like, let's go take them down. And then let's go take down Indiana and then Purdue. So we're going to go compete. We're going to get them. We're really excited about that and moving forward with that initiative.
And I know a lot of this is a part of trying to rejoin the Association of American Universities, it's known as the AAU. Why is that important?
It's important for a couple of reasons. With the additions of USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon now into the Big Ten, there's 18 institutions in that conference. 17 of those 18 are members of the AAU, the American Association of Universities, the most prestigious academic research university in the country. And so Nebraska is the only one not. And, that's disappointing to me. And I think it's time to not accept that we are the only one not in the AAU. And when we were at one time, but for a number of reasons were removed, 10, 12 years ago. So, but when I go back home to Davis City or talking to people who maybe don't understand higher ed like we do here, I'm like, just drop the acronym. Don't worry about AAU. What this is a public declaration that we're going to go compete with the best of the best. And if we do that, that should be a win for Nebraska. It's good for our students and the value of their degree. It allows us to go probably attract a different pool of talent for our faculty and researchers that are doing world-class research or training our next set of doctors or rural health care workforce. So we think that's really good for Nebraska. Whether we get back into the AAU or not is really not the question. That's really not out of our control. And as a coach, I tell my kids, control what you can control. And so we're going to go compete. We're not going to take a back seat to Iowa or Wisconsin or Indiana or anybody. And so that's really what, from my perspective, why the getting back into the AAU is really important.
Very good. I probably should have started with this, but last Friday you received your medallion as the official interim president of the University of Nebraska. Congratulations on that. Your thoughts about that and your thoughts about what's ahead for you in the next few months?
Well, thank you very much. I'm almost 2 months into the job now, and it's really been surreal. From a kid growing up in Davis City, the first in his family to go to college, to have this opportunity to serve Nebraska is anything unlike I ever would have dreamed of or thought possible. So it's a tremendous honor. I'm very humbled. It takes a whole team of us to do this. It's just not me. So it's really, really been great. But, we are just full speed ahead on our plan, and that's about competing, getting back to the AUs, setting a strategy to do that. And that's really around three things in my mind. First, I really want to go reconnect with all Nebraskans, not just Omaha, Lincoln, Kearney, but everybody in Nebraska, and how we want them here, and the university can provide a tremendous opportunity for them if they're willing to make the investment and come here. Two, working with our leadership teams to really rally around a set of priorities that are important to Nebraska and where our strengths are. And some of that will be tied into those AAU goals. And then number three, I think I've heard Trev say this, Nebraskans expect to win. And so do we. And just more being public that we're going to go compete, whether it's for our kids on the basketball court, on the wrestling mat. Just sending that message to Nebraska. I think Nebraskans have been yearning for that competitive fire, not just from the athletic department, but from the academic and research side as well. So that's what gets me excited every day. We roll up our sleeves every day, working hard to go compete for Nebraskans, and hopefully if we pull this out, they'll be proud, and we'll win a few at the same time.
Very good. Well, again, congratulations on that. Looking forward to our visits here in the coming weeks, and we'll be flipping that to March, one of your favorite months right there.
March Madness, here we go.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Interim President of the University of Nebraska, Chris Kabourek, here on Sports Sunday. We're back with more coming up.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
That's the best way I could describe how it felt for me when I would walk out of either the casino or the Keno parlor, is that you just felt that wave of heat, that wave of oppression kind of hit you, that wave of dread.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
Right away, you would always know that that drive home would be the worst moments of why. Why did I do this again? Why can't I stop this?
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground-truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy, from repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you here on a Monday night. Had a text from Brad, who is, I think, from David City. He said he wanted to pass along to Chris Kabourek. Love your attitude and position that you are the president and want to move forward. That's a David City boy doing well. So, Brad, I'm sure the president is listening to us. I think he's a big fan of the show, so he's probably driving out of here listening. So I wanted to pass that along. Always fun to talk to.
He's great. He's awesome. So down to earth, and you never know he's the president. You know, you're like, there's the pres. Also, Shane in the chat said he used to yell at him when he ref basketball games. But name a ref that hasn't been yelled at.
Exactly right. I was going to say, you join the club, Shane. Everybody yells at referees.
Like, it doesn't matter if it was him or any other referee, anybody else wearing the stripes. They all get yelled at. I have a brother and dad that ref. They get yelled at all the time.
Comes with the job.
Never can call anything right.
And everybody
one side's always mad.
You're against my team that I know. I'm just trying to call the game. Danny in Omaha said, I'm a little concerned about the 36 strikeouts in 3 games. I feel sorry for Markowski. She absolutely gets abused when she gets the ball in the post. She does. She gets picked on. And Will Bolt agrees with you, Denny. He was not. He called it.
I thought you were going to say Will Bolt agrees that Alexis Markowski gets abused in the post.
We asked him yesterday in the postgame about the offensive approach against the Sooners, and he said it was atrocious. So he agrees with you, Denny.
So that'd be the one, if you had to say has to improve, that'd be the number one takeaway from the weekend.
That would be, well, on the negative side, not the full take. Mark says ball bat teams won't have an excuse to not get outside and practice the next 2 weeks around here. Winter just up and left.
Thank goodness.
That's true. And, as the season goes on, your advantage of a team that's been outside of practice goes down dramatically. So you're right. And it's been beautiful the last couple of days.
It has
been gorgeous.
Oh, I love walking sunny on these days.
Right?
Don't have to wear 85 layers.
Yeah, your cheeks start hurting because it's so cold outside and pinching a little bit there. All right, we don't have very many shows this week.
Yeah.
Because baseball will knock us off early Thursday, Friday. Basketball Wednesday. Tomorrow night we do have a 90-minute show. You're going to sit down with the athletic director, but for a short time on Wednesday.
Yeah, how about that for a pregame show to the pregame show?
Pretty good, huh?
The athletic director leading into Jake and Kent on Wednesday. So got quite a bit to talk to with him. I'm sure we'll talk some basketball, some hoops. He likes sitting down there, and he might yell at the refs a little bit.
He does. I've heard him. I've heard him doing that down there. So, yeah, plus maybe an update on spring game. Last I heard it was a little over 42,000 tickets sold for the April 27th game. So if you're making your plans, still a lot of great seats available for the Nebraska spring football game. We're about a month away from spring practice beginning. How about that?
Crazy. I was talking to Coach Zeigler earlier. I can't believe that it's February. Tomorrow's February 20th. Where's February gone?
I know. January, to me, always drags and February flies.
Yeah.
I think it's because you get better weather days. It kind of helps you spin your way.
You told me that it was fake spring.
Well, it was. Well,
Are we through fake spring?
You had snow over the weekend when I was gone, right?
Oh, yeah. On Friday, yeah.
Yeah, and it got down to like 10 degrees one night, so that's a little bit still more of winter. But I think we're now to the second fake spring. This week will be that.
Well, I just want spring. No fake spring.
And Cole will back me up on this. What's going to happen is we're going to hit March, and we're going to have a lot of days in the mid-40s and dreary. We're going to like, well, what the heck? We had better weather in late January and February, right, Cole? Yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to hit March, and we're going, gosh, it's better 6 weeks ago.
Well, I'm going to stay on the positive side and say that's not going to happen. By the way, your boy over there bailed on me on Thursday night, so we did not have a joke of the week on Thursday. last week.
Was he off that night?
Yes.
Well, he's hiding it because we won't have a Thursday show for a while. Next week we won't. This week we won't. Well, he's stockpiling.
So he, wanted an off season. This is his off season.
He's stockpiling on those things.
Yeah.
So, all right, 402-413-2400. Keep those texts firing away at us. We've got weekend winners coming up a little bit. Can't wait. Henry's the one I always can't wait to hear what he's got for a weekend winner. So we'll jump into that here in just a few minutes. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Back with winners from the weekend next.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy, from repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
I just remember leaving that day feeling absolutely exhausted. I was sick and tired of living that double life.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
The anxiety, the depression is real. You start thinking about the money, where that could have went to. It's never enough. I could win $10 million today, and I'd go back and try to win 20 tomorrow.
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and a whole lot more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody, Henry, and Cole are going to join this segment. Why don't one of you come over here and get on the mic?
Come on, Henry.
Get on camera so that our folks watching the YouTube stream can see your beautiful mug. And so while he does that, I guess I'll start with Cole since Cole bailed on coming over here. What do you got? Weekend winner.
I've got, let me make sure you guys can hear me over there. My winner, going with Sabrina Ionescu, doing the three-point competition against Steph Curry. She got 26. She didn't beat him, but it was an incredible performance, and she would have beat any of the men doing the, like, she tied Damian Lillard, who won the actual three-point competition. So
very good.
Great.
There's kind of some drama surrounding it, though, because Kenny Smith got on there and was basically saying, and him and Reggie Miller got into it, because he's saying that she should have shot from the WNBA three-point line. And he didn't explain it well during the broadcast. He came on.
Well, that's where she normally would be shooting.
And
from,
it caused such an upror because it said that he tainted it. But he more so was saying it's about muscle memory. And there's a study about darts that if you move a dart thrower forward even a foot or back a foot, it changes everything and they wouldn't be as accurate. So it was more so that that Steph got to practice from that and she had to move so it just kind of changes your muscle memory and all of that. But
that kind of makes sense to me.
yeah, it makes more sense now, but he just didn't explain it very well during the broadcast, so it kind of caused an uproar. But yeah, it was awesome, great, and there was a lot of lead up to it, but shoot or shoot, and she's a shooter.
Yeah. Hi, Henry.
Hello.
What do
you got a winner for us?
I do. I'm going to go with Alexis Markowski. She had
hard to beat a 2020, right?
2020. It's not a great year, but a good stat line.
Whew, unbelievable stat line. That's a great winner. She's phenomenal. Really, really good. Okay.
Okay, so I called women's gymnastics this weekend, and it was an unbelievable competition. It came down to the final routine, and it was back and forth the entire way. And so they hit all of their routines, but I'm going to give it to Emma Spence because it came down to her having to hit, and then she also tied the all-around with Chenge Bakshwe. But, that was a big win for them, and I think they're continuing to progress and get better each time. And I know I talked to Heather Brink. She was really excited about the way they performed, but it was fantastic competition. And then for it to come down to the final routine and for Emma Spence to deliver, it was really exciting.
196.5 to 196.4, the difference. That's really tight.
And then it was the pink meet, and they had a lot of cool things surrounding it, which is always neat. And so it just all around great night. So women's gymnastics for me.
Very good. Earlier that day, and I'm staying with the gymnastics team, the men competed, and Chuck Schmelke's squad put a new Husker season best score, 4:12.9, which is just monstrous. We had Chuck in here a few weeks ago. Their opening week at the Rocky Mountain, they went 4:09, and I'm like, man, Coach, that's a great start. He goes, Greg, we can get in the 4:20s, which that's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I thought he was just kind of messing with me. But at 4:12.9, they're kind of inching their way up there. And Henry at the ticker had all their gymnasts who were named athletes of the week in the conference. So they're doing some really good things.
What's crazy about men's gymnastics, it's 5 up, 5 count. And so you cannot...
Nobody can miss.
You cannot have a fall at all.
Right.
And so that's remarkable. But you said that every time you see Chuck, he's got a big grin on his face. You like this team, don't you?
He's loving life right now. So
I chatted with Taylor Christopoulos last year. He's a remarkable student athlete.
Sure
He's
is.
Fascinating. So, the big things to come for them, too. And Rifle made it into the NCAA championships.
Good for them.
Bowling took out a #1 team.
And is it this weekend? Is indoor track, Big Ten?
Indoor track and field this weekend. Big Ten swim and dive is this week, starting Wednesday.
A lot of happening.
I had a hard time keeping up on Saturday and Sunday. I was
spinning.
overwhelmed trying to keep up with everything.
Well, both basketballs played,
Both
which
basketballs.
is usually one Saturday, one Sunday or something, but they're both Saturday.
Softball, baseball, wrestling.
And 2 gymnastics.
And then, everything was going on, but I was just, it was wild.
Yeah,
Crazy. It's that time of the year.
Crazy
but
stuff.
Love it.
Yeah. A lot of good things happening for Husker sports. I think the Husker men will be favored to win the indoor for Big Tens.
Wow.
The women will probably be second or third, but the men should be the pre-meet favorite. Doesn't mean that you got to go do it. You got to go hit your marks and do your times and all those things.
Because they were not favored going into it when they won it last year.
Right, when they won the outdoor.
Right.
Yeah, so here they go with the indoor. So we had Coach Sinclair on a couple weeks ago, but we'll probably catch up with him before they go to the NCAA indoor in a couple of weeks.
Hopefully a couple of those student athletes as well.
Yeah, very good. All right, tomorrow night, what do we got tomorrow? Fred Hoiberg's going to meet with the media tomorrow before they depart for Indiana. We'll hear some clips from him. We're going to play an interview you had with Heather and Heather Brink, and then Cindy Gray. We're hoping to grab her.
The Big Ten Player of the Week.
Who hit 2 3-run home runs yesterday. 2,
hopefully,
not 1.
hopefully she'll be able to come in after her lifting session.
Well, very good.
And I am scheduled to have Jazz Shelley for Husker Women's Wednesday this week, so that'll be fun, too.
Cool. And the women do play tomorrow night. We'll be on a 90-minute show with you tomorrow night before we hand it off to Matt and Jeff at 7:30. Well, our Woodhouse Auto family is your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. Thanks to Henry and Nicole and all of you for listening. Have yourself a great night. We're back tomorrow.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option,